Well, the next witness is about to take the stand, Neil Rockind, my Wednesday guest, great attorneys with me. Neil, let me say something to you. Grounds, and get your reaction. You know what I was going to
Grounds.
ask. Grounds.
Grounds. My reaction is I'll never look at coffee grounds quite the same way again. And as I said to you in a short, just a quick quip, a- any state that's considering somehow allowing people to try and litigate cases who are not licensed ought to watch this video. This is Exhibit A for why lawyers and law licenses are required to try
Yeah.
cases.
And, you know, he does represent himself, but one thing that does surprise me, I thought he was going to be as crazy as he was last week with the signs, you know, objection, taking off the shirt. But he does show a bit of courtroom decorum in a way.
He does. He also shows just a little bit of knowledge about things. And as you know, sometimes a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. And at times, Linda, neither you nor I, nor any lawyer we know would get away with shaking your head and looking down and attempting to mutter under your breath. And he has some basic rudimentary knowledge. Um, but the
Well, Neil,
fact is
but you
that
know what
he's
I will say to you? I think he has a lot of jailhouse lawyers helping him, as you know. But I'm going to take us right back into that courtroom where another witness is on the stand. Neil Rockind, I know I have to sign you off soon. This will be my last segment with you. But this is the way I've been acting during this trial. I have had a loss of words. Well, you know, the truck is bearing down. You've got your husband, you've got your kids, you've got the dance team, but you can't tell me the color of the SUV, the truck, the light truck. I was driving that killed 6 people, and therefore, what?
there's no answer to that. I mean, again, this is caught on video. He is asking people, again, in a case in which there was potentially, this involved one witness, perhaps with no video camera, not in front of a televised audience. It didn't go on for blocks and blocks with thousands of potential witnesses. Maybe, maybe these questions could have some value. But he's asking people who care about their children to did you get the license plate number of the vehicle? No, I was in a state of panic as I dived after my child, worried that my child was going to be dragged and killed. This is the sort of cross-examination that even if you win any of these minute battles, you've lost the war by asking the questions.
But then,
And
Leah,
Mr.
what
Brooks
should he
doesn't
be
know that.
asking? Let me ask you this. What should he be asking?
None of these questions. He should be asking potentially questions about if he were going to defend himself. First of all, I don't think he should be asking any questions. He shouldn't be defending himself, but he is. And so, because he's defending himself without the assistance of a lawyer, he has no common theme, no thread. He doesn't take into account the sensitivity of the questions he's asking and their potential impact on jurors who have children, who are from the community.
Yeah.
Instead, he's asking them in a vacuum.
Yep. And Neil, we just saw it flashed on the screen, the victims in this matter, and I agree with you. He should say, "I'm so sorry for your loss." Do you have any indication of whether Darrel Brooks, really intended to drive that, or do you you know, or something to that effect? He can even get away with a lot. But Neil, I'm sure we'll be talking about this next week. Stay with us. Thank you for coming on. Hope to have you back soon. And you, the viewer, stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking more about the victims in this matter. Okay, apparently there's some type of tornado watch around the courtroom, around the area. The judge wants to take an early lunch to make sure everyone is safe. It's a little bit scary, Neil Rockind. I mean, to me, there's been a tornado in that courtroom. Maybe not very effective, but certainly one that's, just by questioning, re-hurting the victims of this attack. Neil Rockind, talk to me.
It's such an insensitive cross-examination, the whole process. You wonder, look, we come from different backgrounds, and everybody watching this trial comes from different backgrounds. In a way, we represent what the jury comes from different backgrounds. And we all have the same reaction. Every question, every look, every objection, the Tasmanian devil that is Darrel Brooks or whatever other name he wants to go by is just re-injuring each victim, and he has to be offending the jurors. This is cringeworthy. Every word, every objection just causes us to cringe, causes me to cringe.
Yeah.
And I'm an advocate of killer cross-examination, but this takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things I saw, Neil, and I commented on it when we were there, I wish I had a screenshot when the victim, Mr. Knapp, who was describing how his 3-year-old daughter was thrown up in the air 15 feet, and then he said he locked eyes with the driver, and the camera panned to Darrel Brooks Jr. there at that point, and his eyes were they were something that you'd seen in a movie for insanity. Now he's not insane; he knows what he's doing. He can coordinate his conduct and all in the courtroom. But it was a very scary look, Neil.
Extremely powerful moment. And something else that I've caught is some of this type of cross-examination, distance, time, location, all of the nitpicking about the location of where individuals were and what we were looking at, that may be helpful in a case in which this wasn't caught on video. It may be helpful in a case where there weren't people who knew Darrel Brooks and knew what he was doing, that weren't identifying him, that didn't know him, that didn't make eye contact with him, where this didn't continue over a prolonged period of time. That's the kind of cross that may create some doubt in a single witness, no video type of case. This is not that case. And all Darrel Brooks is doing, or whatever name he currently goes by, intervener on behalf of the copyrighted individual known as Darrel Brooks or whatever other name he goes by, all he's doing right now is reminding the jurors of how insensitive he is to what he did. Mr. Knapp's testimony was extremely compelling, extremely. And Darrel Brooks is, if he does anything, it would be to wave the white flag and ask for a lawyer, but he's not going to do that.
Yeah. He says, Mr. Brooks says, because he's a sovereign citizen, that he's there in the courtroom as a lawyer and he's representing the person who is the defendant, but he himself now does not acknowledge the name of Darrel Brooks Jr., the name for which he is defendant. He's had some tangles with the judge. He wants to know her grounds for sustaining objections when they're quite clear generally. How does that go over with the jury, Neil?
Poorly. Linda, you and I know that when we're trying a case, the jury has a belief that the judge knows all, that they respect the judge. They view the judge as somebody who's supposed to be impartial. They don't know the peculiarities or particularities of the judge moment to moment or what the judge's reputation is. They view the judge as someone who doesn't have a stake in the outcome. And when a judge is actually is being bullied, or someone is trying to bully judge or belittle the judge or argue with the judge or talk over the judge, the jury looks at that person with disfavor, particularly in this case where they know the person who's making the objections and is arguing with the judge is the person who's accused of this horrific crime. They have to look at Mr. Brooks as though he is just somebody who doesn't understand the time and place. And the judge is growing more and more impatient with him by the moment.
Yeah, and yet I love how Judge DeRoe is handling him. And I would point out that we had 2 judges in both Alex Jones cases, 3 judges who've had to handle some of the most difficult cases we've seen on this network. They have something in common. I wonder what that is. Okay, with that, you'll be able to figure it out because I know our viewers are incredibly smart. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll look at what happened in that courtroom earlier today.